Hello and welcome back to Good Game Nation, where we bring you all things TCG. My name's Preston. I'm here with Sam. Say hello.
Hello to whatever today is, and you're seeing this. Hello. Yikes.
Hello. Today, we are talking about Set Five Purple, and I think everyone knows what to expect out of these videos at this point. But let's talk about the leader before I completely kill the mood.
No.
Um, Activate main once per turn. You can add the top card of your life to your hand. If you have 0 or 3 or more Dawn cards on your field, Dawn from the Dawn deck, add one card active. It ramps. You take a life and you can ramp almost always. Um, it's an interesting leader effect, and the art is absolutely incredible.
Yep.
But I don't think the character cards really support that leader effect.
Yeah, it's tough. Weirdly enough, I think we start the video with this Luffy. Um, it's. I think it'll make sense. This Luffy is, first of all, it's beautiful. This artwork is beautiful. The alts are beautiful. Go check them out. I'm gonna link this short. They're up here. They're gorgeous. When played, -10. All your Dawn. Put all other characters back to the deck, bottom of the deck in any order. Then take an additional turn at the end of this turn. Activate once per turn. One Dawn active. So, first note: any card that says take an additional turn, that should be on your watch list. Any card that says this in any game, this is terrifying. There's tons of potential for this. This is a very scary card. And not necessarily the Luffy that we just talked about, but I'm going to click the other link to bring out the other leaders. The ones that are coming out in the theme deck, the red-purple leaders, these are the ones that we'll probably mostly be talking about when we talk about meta decks. Because, spoiler, this Luffy is quite scary.
It also ramps, right?
It also ramps, yes. It ramps just as fast. It has 6k power as well.
Yes.
But this Luffy minus his 10 Dons, which I think breaks synergy with a lot of the stuff that we want to do with these rest of these purple straw hats, because most of them say if you have 8 or more Don, that is the requirement for most of their effects. So if you activate this Luffy, it generally kind of, obviously they're going to get sent to the bottom of the deck anyway, but it kind of breaks the synergy that we were supposed to have with these guys. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and that's kind of, I mean, I guess it makes Luffy the hero. He comes in at the end of the game, he clears the board, he attacks on his own,
Wow.
and then you might do it again in a few turns, or you re-ramp up to have his team around him or his crew. Uh, but yeah, it kind of sucks because we hated this in set one with King, where his effect only activated when you had 10 Dawn. These are 8 Dawn, so it happens a turn earlier. But then the effects are boring. Nami's a 1 cost 1k 10 Dawn blocker.
Only if you're 10 Don.
Only if you're 10 Dawn. That
Yeah.
sucks. That's so
Artwork's beautiful.
disappointing. Oh, it's a gorgeous card. You're playing 4 of them because it's just so cute, but it sucks. Robin, if 8 or more Dawn are on the field, KO up one of your opponent's cost of 3 or less. So on turn 4, when you have 8 Dawn, you're playing a 4 cost and KOing a 3 cost. It's just mediocre to me. Um, Sanji gets a really cool vanilla, so he got dicked on effect again. So he's had 2 vanillas in the last 2 sets. But he does get the opposite side of the Zoro card, which is super cool. And Zoro is a ramp. If you have 3 or less, add 1 Dawn. Or 3 or less life, ramp up 1 Dawn, which if you're playing the red purple
Luffy.
Luffy, it's happening. It just happens. Chopper's kind of lame. Go ahead. I was just gonna keep
No,
hitting on these
yeah,
guys.
you're good. I think that if you're not playing the Luffy, there's definitely some viable plays here. You are ramping very fast. And you're probably going to be hitting 8 while they're probably still with 4 or 5 done. So maybe you'll find value with that. But if we're thinking red purple, oh, and all the artwork is beautiful, by the way. All of the Wana artwork here, this law specifically as well, this beautiful artwork. Shout out Loki as well. The Brook is beautiful. But if we're thinking about it in the red purple and having the Nami that searches Straw Hats, there are a lot of him here, like the Zoro and even the Sanji. Not having, I don't think there's any vanillas that are this big, and you can get it out very, very quickly with the ramp Luffy's. So I do think there are some pros here, even from the starter deck. The special kid there that you're ramping to, very, very powerful. So I do think if you're playing the up to 8 Dawn format, I don't think it's gonna have this 10-drop Luffy. I think this might be 2 different decks. But if you are playing the 10-drop Luffy, none of the synergy really is there. And then we're sending them all away anyway, so you're not gonna have them. Yeah, so I think the takeaways, and I don't think the event card, we didn't really talk about them because this purple set's just supposed to be support for the theme deck, so the set's kind of everywhere. But I do think there are some, weirdly enough, other than the Croc set, this might be the most hopeful I've been for purple. Mostly because of the starter deck leaders. I think there's some play here with red purple. But this set purple is it's so confusing that it doesn't have a very synergizing operation. That's frustrating when we just covered 3 sets that were either tech or 2 that I think have such great potential, and I just don't understand why this keeps happening with purple. It makes me wonder if there's just like one team that's just continuously working on purple, and maybe if they just switch like teams, like maybe the purple team makes red once, like maybe it'll like I don't know, I'm just joking, but I don't know what keeps happening when we're talking about purple.
To be fair, if ramp had good cards and it was consistent, it would be disgusting. I think that happened in Dragon Ball Super at the very beginning. You were just splashing the ramp cards in decks that you needed to play them just because it was good. So, like, if you had a really good ramp set with cards that backed it up, it would just be the best deck. And that's what I was hopeful for with Kaido, because it had some decent ramp cards. And this has some decent ramp power, but it just equates to nothing in my mind, and it's just disappointing in that sense.
Yeah, and hopefully, I'm hoping there's another set for this. I'm hoping we have a little more, not just for the Straw Hats, but these. This law is pretty interesting because when you consider the Heart Pirates, and I think this kid is pretty good as well, but their counterparts are just lacking. Very similar to the anime, probably. Maybe they're just getting it down right to the canon, but it's just
on point.
It's a little too on point. Yeah, they need to be able to do a little something. And even in the theme deck, like Sachi and Penguin got 1 card instead of 2, so it just takes away of options that they could have had. I hope there's more. I hope there's another set, kind of like the Don Quixote set. We get another set for this. But then it gets scary. How many more Strahds are we going to get for red purple to search for? There's got to be a middle, and we're a little lower than the bar right now. So I'm still hopeful for purple. I think this is a good shot for them, this set, for the theme decks at least.
Right. Yeah, it makes the theme decks better, I think. You get a couple more cards that you might be able to play. You get the Zoro and the Sanji, which are great.
I think so.
But I once again and always will be disappointed with purple. And I'm always so hopeful for it. I see the leader and I'm like, oh, this is going to be what? Oh, man. They got us again. Another gotcha.
It'll also be interesting to see what happens to Whitebeard. I think Whitebeard is a big tie for this Luffy deck as well. But it's still limited to 1 here in the West. But it's at 4 in the East. So I'm curious to see what happens with Whitebeard when the next set comes out. But we'll see that next time when we cover Black in the next video. Let us know, guys. Maybe. In the comments, let us know, guys. Are we right about purple? Is there a card we missed? The Luffy leader, I'm a little down on it, but that's mostly because the red purple ones exist. This purple one is good, but that red purple one is just built a little different. But if you guys are still here, consider doing the YouTube things, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you soon for Black.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. But bye. Created a monster. Maybe. No, we'll be back for sure.
Yeah, of course. Never going away.
50-50 shot. Computer might just catch fire, to be honest. That's not a joke, that's canon.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, 50-50.
Yep.